Hello, and welcome to Course 1, Part 2. Before practicing modern marketing, it's important to understand the fundamentals for success. Remember, people don't want to be sold to. They want to be educated, and modern marketing tactics can deliver the kind of information your prospects need to help them make smart, well-informed decisions. You can begin doing this by keeping these best practices in mind. First, by using buyer personas. Second, by using the buyer's journey. Then by creating remarkable content and knowing how to leverage it. Let's start by taking a look at how to use buyer personas. Since modern marketing and sales are consumer-centric, you need to know who you're trying to reach. You don't want just any traffic to your site. You want the right traffic. You want the people who are most likely to become leads and ultimately happy customers. Who are the right people? The right people are your ideal customers, what we call buyer personas. Buyer personas are semi-fictional representations of an ideal customer based on real data and some educated speculation about demographics, behaviors, motivations, and goals. Personas are created through research, analysis, and taking a close look at who's already buying from you. They can help you get into the mindset of your potential buyers and create the right content. When you create the right content, you will effectively attract your ideal visitors, convert them into leads, and close them into customers. They're the glue that holds every aspect of modern marketing together. So you could say that they're a big deal. But how do you create buyer personas? There are 3 things to keep in mind: research, identifying trends, and creating persona profile stories. First, do your research. Buyer personas must be based off of actual research, not assumptions. Yes, research takes time, but if any of those assumptions are inaccurate, your personas will be too. When conducting research, there are a few questions that you can ask to develop your buyer personas. One way to start is by asking your current customers different questions that touch upon their demographics, goals, and challenges. Ask questions like, what is your job, your title? What industry or industries does your company work in? Are you working to accomplish something? What are your biggest challenges? How do you learn about new information for your role? Do you use the internet to research vendors or products? You don't have to ask these questions word for word. Make the questions specific to your industry so you're getting specific answers in return. And always focus on the why, or the motives of your buyer personas, not their actions. The follow-up question to pretty much every question should be why. Through these interviews, you're trying to understand your persona's goals, behaviors, and motivations. What really drives them? People aren't always good at describing this for themselves, so it's important to dig deep. Uncovering these motives can lead to a truly powerful content strategy. So how do you do research? Start by interviewing your current customers, former customers, prospects, and even your coworkers. Your existing customer base is the perfect place to start with your interviews because we've already purchased your product or engaged with your company. At least some of them are likely to exemplify your target persona. Reach out to both good and bad customers. Once you've spoken to a few people, it's time to start looking for trends. Patterns and similarities in answers to persona research questions indicate who your personas really are. How much research does it take to create a persona? As much as it takes to identify trends. Be on the lookout for commonalities and similarities between the types of answers you're getting. By now, you may be thinking, how many personas should I have? The answer is as many as you need, as long as you start noticing trends that will help you build out your buyer persona. All right. You've done your persona research and identified those trends. The final step is to compile this research and create persona profile stories. You want these stories to contain information about who your persona is, using information from their background, their demographics, and their goals and challenges. You also want to include your plan to help them. Include common objections that they might have to your product or service, and use real quotes from your interviews. After all, what better way to represent your persona than to use their own words? Let's take a look at an example of what a complete buyer persona profile might actually look like. In this example, we're looking at a persona named Networker Ned. Networker Ned is an example created by a direct sales and marketing company. Let's call them Network Marketing Inc. They clearly did their research and identified some trends. Here's what they put together. Ned tends to be a hardworking, entrepreneurial-minded, full-time employee. He's married, has 2 children, and has been with 2 or 3 companies over the course of his professional career. He tends to be male and around the age of 35 to 45. He has a very professional yet invigorating demeanor and typically is surrounded by friends, family, and colleagues who enjoy being in his presence. His goals are to create a lifestyle allowing for more time with his family, while also pursuing his dream of business ownership. Some common challenges he runs into are identifying his tangible skills that lend towards successful business ownership, and finding opportunities that require small monetary and time investments. So what about solutions? Well, Network Marketing Inc. can best help Networker Ned by providing easy entry for business ownership, by creating low startup costs and a replicable system for success. The company and its existing independent owners should be prepared for the common objections that he typically has, such as worrying about the stability of the company and that he's not such a good salesman. After interviewing a few current customers, they were able to pull real quotes to use for Ned, like, "I've tried direct sales opportunities in the past and have not found success," and "I've bounced around a little throughout my career. I'm looking for an opportunity with stability that I can trust." These quotes can make it easier for one of the company's employees to identify if they might be on the right track when speaking with or emailing a Networker Ned. These personas give you a really clear idea of exactly who these potential customers might be, what they're interested in, what they're dealing with, and what they're working towards. But when it comes to creating a great modern marketing strategy, it's not enough to know just who you're trying to reach. You'll also have to know what they want to see. Who are buyer personas right for? Is it business to customer, or nonprofit? Buyer personas are necessary for any type of business. That brings us to the buyer's journey. Every interaction your persona has with your organization should be tailored to where they are in the buyer's journey. The buyer's journey is the active research process someone goes through leading up to a purchase. Knowing the buyer's journey for your persona will be key to creating the best content possible. Instead of talking about top, middle, or bottom of the funnel, the buyer's persona is made up of 3 stages: the awareness stage, the consideration stage, and the decision stage that portray the experiences your potential customers go through. Every single one of you has gone through the buyer's journey. It's the path you take when you have a problem to solve, from researching potential solutions to purchasing one. The awareness stage is when your prospect is experiencing and expressing symptoms of a problem or opportunity. They're doing educational research to more clearly understand, frame, and give a name to their problem. The consideration stage is when a prospect has now clearly defined and given a name to their problem or opportunity. They are committed to researching and understanding all of the available approaches and/or methods to solving the defined problem or opportunity. The decision stage is when a prospect has now decided on their solution strategy, method, or approach. They are compiling a long list of available vendors and products in their given solution strategy. They could also be researching to whittle the list down to a short list and ultimately making a final purchase decision. Here's a real-life example of the buyer's journey. Have you ever been sick before? Yes, I'm sure you have. Remember that feeling of being ill when you're not really sure exactly what it is you might have? In the awareness stage, you're experiencing symptoms or having a problem. In this case, you feel like you have a sore throat, a fever, or you're achy all over. You ask, what's wrong with me? In the consideration stage, that's when you've given a name to your problem and now needing to figure out your options. You realize, aha, I have strep throat. But what are my options for relieving or curing my symptoms? That's where the decision stage comes in. This is when you decide on your approach to solve the problem. If you have strep throat, you could see a primary care physician, go to the ER, or go to a clinic. You might decide that the ER costs a lot, but you're insured and you go with that option anyway. That's how one could go through the buyer's journey. It's from the buyer's perspective. But imagine you as the marketer, or in this case, the doctor. Doctors will typically listen to your symptoms, provide options for you to get better, and prescribe you a solution. But what if you went into a doctor's office and they paid no attention to your symptoms and just gave you some sort of medicine immediately? Not a pleasant experience. That's what can often happen with website content. Rather than creating content that covers your buyer persona's problems and potential solutions, we jump to explaining our products or our services and why they're the best option. Website visitors might come to your website for the first time in any of the different buyer's journey stages, but you need to have content prepared for each and every stage. Are you comfortable with the buyer's journey? Let's test your knowledge because the buyer's journey comes up a lot when it comes to modern marketing. If you were to create a blog post about your product or service, where would it fall into the buyer's journey? I'll give you a second to answer this question. Is it option A, the awareness stage, B, the consideration stage, or C, the decision stage? Your product or service will most likely help solve your persona's problem. But that doesn't make this post appropriate for the awareness stage. Your product and service will be some form of solution, but in this case, your blog post is talking all about you, so this would be a decision stage piece of content. But here's the thing, blog posts aren't really for the decision stage, so it was a bit of a trick question. When you're creating content, specifically blog posts, keep it educational. Not educating them on who you are and what you do, but educating them on their problems and appropriate solutions. It's the modern marketing way, a way to build trust. Once you understand your buyer personas and their buying journeys, it's time to start doing modern marketing. Modern marketing can't exist without content, and that's why the third best practice is to create remarkable, tailored content. Modern marketing is content plus context. Your content is your marketing toolkit. Things like blogs, interactive tools, photos, videos, and ebooks work to attract, convert, nurture, and close. Context is who you're creating it for. You can't just write any blog post. You have to write the right ones, tailored to who you're trying to reach and what they're interested in. The best content, the stuff that's really going to fuel your entire modern marketing strategy, has to be grounded in the correct context. It's not enough to just write a blog post or send out an email. The content in that blog post and that email needs to be tailored to who you're trying to reach, your persona, and what they're most interested in seeing, which depends on where they are in the buyer's journey. The last best practice is to leverage your content. Make that content available for your buyer personas to find. Content distribution is what provides the context to your content. It's not enough to just have great content. You need to have a way to get that content out into the world. Distribution makes content relevant. There are a few different tools you can use to leverage content by distribution. The right distribution technique gets the right content in front of the right person at the right time. You can use your website pages, business blogs, social media, landing pages or capture pages, call to actions, and marketing emails. Just make sure you're using tactics that help your content reach your buyer personas where they're spending their time. If they aren't spending their time on Twitter, Twitter shouldn't be a major part of your distribution plan. And that brings us to the end of the modern marketing best practices. Remember, research, develop, and use your buyer personas. Then combine that knowledge with the buyer's journey to help you create and leverage remarkable content. See you in the next video.